Hi, I'm Graham and welcome back to Man vs Film. This is going to be a top 10 of movies that you can watch right now on Amazon Prime US for the month of November 2017. So let's get started. Number 10, Clueless. A rich high school student must survive the ups and downs of adolescent life. Behind her fun demeanour is wit, charm and intelligence that will help her deal with teenage life. Amy Heckerling's fantastic 90s movie is definitely a product of the 90s, there's no two ways about it, full of amazing performances from a whole cast of characters that you've seen in plenty of things before. It has some social satire to it, but most of all, it has characters that you genuinely like and want to see succeed and move on and get out of the situations that they are in. You're invested in them. It's fun, it's carefree, it's one of these movies that seems to have been lost a little bit throughout the years, but it's definitely worth your time. Number 9, Ace Ventura. Ace is on the case to find the Miami Dolphins' missing mascot and quarterback, Dan Marino. Ace Ventura is a movie I watched a lot when it came out in the early 90s and I hadn't really thought much about it since then, but rediscovering it on Amazon Prime made me realise how much I just haven't matured throughout the years. I thought this was absolutely hilarious yet again. It is silly, it's not the best filmed or made up movie, but the sheer performance and energy of Jim Carrey drives this thing forward. It was tremendous, absolutely hilarious. I was killing myself laughing at it, and I think it is one that I doubt I'm ever going to get tired of watching. Number 8, Pet Sematary. Behind a young family's home in Maine is a terrible secret that holds the power of life after death. When tragedy strikes, the allure of this terrible power becomes irresistible. Since Stephen King adaptations seem to be all the rage, I thought I'd suggest one that is very rarely seen, and that is Pet Sematary. It is about a family, that is a young boy and a couple move into this house and they discover that a little bit behind their house in the woods is a pet cemetery that brings the dead back to life. And when something happens to their cat, they bury it and it comes back. But it doesn't come back as it was before. There's something devoutly evil about it. And when their son is killed in a road traffic accident, they have little choice but to try and bring their son back, even if it won't be the same person it was before. And they truly do so, and it turns into a rather interesting and fun horror movie. Very 90s as well, but still it is an interesting watch. And also on Prime is a sequel which isn't great, but if you like the first one, you may want to give it a shot. Number 7 is Ghoulies. A young man and his girlfriend move into an old mansion home, where he becomes possessed by the desire to control ancient demons. It's one of these movies you're going to love or hate. If within the first 15 minutes you don't like it, turn it off. It's not going to get any better for you. It is very 80s in its horror-centric ways. It is, well, the demons in this are very obviously puppets. Not the greatest ones, but fun nonetheless. It's a low-budget movie set in the one location with puppet demons and satanic cult elements. It's one of these movies that if you saw in the 80s and you enjoyed it, you're probably going to go back to this and really like it as well. If you have an affinity for 80s and things that came out from that era, including the horror movies, you're going to find something worth interest in it. Other than that, it may not be for you. If you do like it, again, the sequel is on Amazon Prime and I suggest checking that out as well. I think it may be a little bit better than the first one. That's just my personal opinion though. Number 6, A Time to Kill. In Canton, Mississippi, a fearless young lawyer and his assistant defend a black man accused of murdering 2 white men who raped his 10-year-old daughter, inciting violent retribution and revenge from the Ku Klux Klan. Round about the mid-90s, adaptations of John Grisham's movies were all the rage, and most of them get made into like major movies starring major movie stars. This one has Matthew McConaughey and Samuel L. Jackson and Sandra Bullock as well. Quite an interesting story. It's one that just keeps you on the edge of your seat. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but it does all the basics and does them all very well to lend itself to a story that actually keeps you engaged and you wonder where it's going to go. It is overly melodramatic, but it's forgivable because of the storyline, because of the performances. Number 5, Fargo. Jerry Lundegaard's inept crime falls apart due to his henchman's bungling and the persistent police work of a quite pregnant Marge Gunderson. I absolutely love Fargo. I love the Coen brothers. I think their movies are genuinely all masterpieces and definitely worth your time, and Fargo is one of their best. It has got this comedic timing that very few other movies master. This has it in spades due to the character portrayals by the cast, who all do particularly fantastic work. The overly niceness of the characters, as there's tried to be abrupt, is one of my favourite things about this movie. Steve Buscemi is one of the favourite character actors who always appears in Coen Brothers, and he steals the scenes that he is in. This is a quick movie, it is a fun movie, it is a movie that surprises you in where it goes and how it turns bloody in the most obscure of times, yet still manages to give you a giggle when things get a little bit bloody. I think Fargo is a masterpiece of a movie, and if you haven't seen it, you have got to check this thing out. Number 4 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. A radio DJ hears the death of 2 men at the hands of some familiar chainsaw-wielding maniacs and embarks on a quest with a former Texas Ranger to find the maniacs and deliver justice. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is quite rightly regarded as a masterpiece, and this does a complete 180 with the tone, making it more jokey, more funny, more weird, and just more everything. It is very different from the first movie, and that may be something that's off-putting for a lot of people. Tobe Hooper really just doubles down on everything here, getting Dennis Hopper, putting the Chainsaw Clan into chili competitions where their chili isn't quite the same grade of meat as everybody else's. This family on the run, travelling through Texas, just causing mayhem. And it's gloriously over the top and wonderful. I think it is one of my favourite movies from the 80s, definitely one of my favourite horror movies, and something that is completely different from the original, but still is good. Number 3, Bone Tomahawk. 4 men set out from the Wild West to save kidnapping victims from a group of cave-dwelling cannibals. What follows is a journey into hell as the posse realise they are up against a foe whose savagery knows no bounds. Bone Tomahawk was one of my favourite movies of 2015. I thought it was an absolute marvel. It stars Kurt Russell and Kurt Russell's moustache, which should get its own billing. It's that fantastic. This is a Wild West tale where things don't go at a super fast pace. These guys have to trek for days across the desert to catch up with these cave-dwelling cannibals who have stolen members of their townspeople. It takes its time in building the characters up. You get to know everybody, you get to know the core group before it unleashes sheer mayhem at the end of it, and things get extremely violent and extremely bloody and extremely fun, if you ask me. I think Bone Tomahawk is one of the best movies this century that a lot of people haven't really checked out, and they need to. Number 2 is Arrival. A linguist with military security clearance using her skills to decipher and communicate with alien beings who have landed all around the world. Where did they come from? What do they want? Will they destroy us, or will mankind continue to be its own worst enemy? Denis Villeneuve's fantastic movie that stars Amy Adams in an unbelievable performance was one of the most affecting movies that I saw last year in the cinema. It's one that has resonated with me, and when it gets to the final few scenes you realise just how powerful a movie it is and how it offers up the questions of, would you rather have loved and lost or never having loved at all? It is a fantastic movie. I can't say enough good things about this, and Denis Villeneuve is one of my favourite directors currently working today. If you missed this on the big screen, do yourself a favour and check it out as soon as you can. Number 1, Predestination. For his final assignment, a top temporal agent must pursue the one criminal that has eluded him through time. The case turns into a unique and mind-bending exploitation of love, fate and identity. The Sprague Brothers' twisting, turning movie starring Ethan Hawke delivers a time-bending plotline that's quite hard to get a grip of, but once you do, it turns into a rather fun movie. It's very well shot, it is very well executed, it has an amazing opening 20 minutes as somebody just sits in a bar telling a story of their life, which is fascinating. It is a time travel movie, it is twisting, it is turning. I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want to give anything away in this, because as we know from time travelling movies, they generally involve lots of reveals and things alike, and this movie is no different than that. It is a small movie,
that you probably haven't heard of before. It kind of creeped by on video on demand, and now it is on Amazon Prime. And I think that out of all the movies on there, this is one that could be missed easily, which is why it is my number one for this month. So check it out and let me know what you thought of it. So there we have it, the top 10 movies for November 2017. Is there something there that you quite fancy, or have I missed something out? Let me know in the comment box if there's a movie that I should have had on my list, and I'll see if it makes it on to next month. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.